This is Luke Thatcher, high school math teacher and administrative building coordinator. Let's get started.
Let's do it.
How did you end up at River Valley High School, and how long have you been here?
Great question. We've been here since 2010. We moved here from Butte, Montana, and I like to tell everybody that my wife drove me here. I had never really even been to the Midwest, let alone Wisconsin, and she's from Dodgeville and wanted to be a little closer to home after we started having kids. So we were looking in the Dodgeville area, and we both needed to get jobs in the same district. We wanted to be close enough to Dodgeville, but still far enough away. But yeah, so here we are. Both got jobs in Spring Green, and yeah, I'm very happy to be here.
What is an administrative building coordinator?
You know, as soon as someone has the answer to that question, I'd love to hear it. I've been introduced as Dean of Students, Administrative Building Coordinator, Assistant Principal. I still don't know what the title is, what it means. I do a lot with discipline, and attendance is the main part of my job, though. So people that make some mistakes or maybe aren't coming to school when they're supposed to be, I'm usually the guy that talks to them first.
Besides teaching, what job would you be really good at?
I'd like to think I'd be a good fishing guide. I don't get to spend nearly as much time on the river as I'd like to, but I really enjoy fishing, being outside, but I really like working with people, so that's I think why I've enjoyed teaching, coaching, but yeah, fishing guide wouldn't be bad, especially this time of year.
What are 3 interesting facts about you?
3 interesting facts. Well, I'm married with 4 kids, so that's it's excessive. It's a lot of work, but I love my family to death. Spend a lot of time at home with my kids. You mentioned, we talked about earlier, I'm from Butte, Montana. I'm very proud of where I come from. I do miss home a lot. And another thing that I was born in Las Vegas. I guess most people think that I'm from Montana, talk a lot about Montana. Spent the first about 2 months of my life in Las Vegas. That great place, miss it terribly also.
Are you usually early or late?
Late. As I mentioned earlier, I have 4 kids, so to coordinate everybody going in the same direction at the same time is a tough thing to do. But so yeah, I usually arrive late, but with that, I always stay late too.
If you could make one rule that everyone had to follow, what rule would you make?
This one's very appropriate for the job that I have and what I do, but I think if everyone was just a little nicer to each other, I think where I see a lot of things come in are insecurities through social media because of meanness through social media, or trying to impress friends by putting down other people and being mean to other people. I think if everybody was just a little nicer to each other, acknowledged each other, that would probably put me out of a job for starters, but yeah, I think it'd be a much better place to be.
What's your favorite sport?
Basketball. I love basketball. I think it's a combination of a little bit of everything. You have, it's a physical sport, it's a demanding sport, where I think a lot of sports you can specialize and be really good if you can throw the ball really hard, or you can run really fast, or if you're really strong you can find specific spots. But in basketball you have to be pretty well rounded. You have to be pretty good at all of it in order to play and compete at a high level, and that's what makes it a little more unique to me. And really, I just enjoy competing. So, but basketball's my favorite.
What makes a good life?
A good life. I think it's just enjoy the little things, the little tasks. You know, for me, it's time with my family. It doesn't need to be a big, elaborate, you know, material things. It's enjoying experiences with the people that you love and enjoy being around, and spreading happiness.
What would be the most amazing adventure to go on?
Most amazing adventure. Boy, I would love to fish Alaska. That's a big one. I still haven't caught a marlin. I do like tropical weather more than I like the mountain weather, but that'd be a good one too. My kids are kind of brainwashed. They really love fishing too, so we spend a lot of time anywhere we go. We usually bring a rod with us, but yeah, I'd like to chase big halibut, king salmon in Alaska, but I do need to check off a marlin off the bucket list at some point too.
What do you like best about your job?
I really enjoy working with people differently. So in the math class, you work on developing a skill. You get better at something, right? Everybody comes in at different ability levels. Some are really strong at it, some are not very strong at it, but if people work at it and continue to work at it, everybody gets better at it. So I enjoy that. And in the ABC role, you know, you get to try to hopefully mold people to being better people. You know, whether that's getting to school on time, you know, being available, and sometimes being a little nicer to people. But again, you're working with people, hopefully helping people become better people, and in turn, I hope to be a better person because of it.
What skill would you like to master?
What skill? There's a couple things I'd like to be better at. I am not a handy person at all. In fact, last night I was trying to fix a faucet and broke the shut-off valve to it. So that's going to be more work for me around the house. I'm not a handy person. I've always been intrigued by the idea of welding and working with metals. Never welded, never done anything with metals, but that's kind of something I'd like to learn how to do. And I've talked to Miss Carmody about it a few times, and I'm sure she'd take me under her wing and let me destroy some things. But yeah, that'd be interesting.
When was the last time you ate an ice cream cone?
Ice cream cone. It's probably been a while. Maybe last summer. I'm not a huge ice cream fan, and I can't get into the ice cream versus custard debate. Yeah, I love down at the Union. They have like a cappuccino or an espresso coffee flavored ice cream's pretty good, and I'll splurge for one of those. But it's been probably 6 to 9 months since I've had an ice cream cone.
What is one of your favorite smells?
Back to my last comment. Favorite smell would either be coffee or lemon. I love lemons too. Coffee's wonderful. Lemon desserts, that stuff's good.
That was my last question. Is there anything else you would like to say?
Oh, thanks for asking me to be a part of this. I always enjoy seeing you in the hall, and you always have a great big smile on your face when you're not sticking your tongue out at me. But no, thank you for including me in this. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, go.
Britt actually coached volleyball for my dad. My dad was the boys basketball coach there and was the after school. Yep.
What, so did she go to school in Montana?
Yeah, no, she did her grad work there.
Oh,
so
okay.
when her internship, she wanted to go out west for grad school, but ended up doing Stevens Point for just affordability reasons, and so they hired her. Yeah, she'd worked there a couple of years before I even met her. I was actually out in Nantucket, Massachusetts. for a while before when she was hired there.
So she was hired as a college?
So outside of college, so Montana doesn't have a speech pathologist program. So everything comes from outside. She was the only speech therapist in the district, and our high school was, at that time, maybe 1,700 kids. So you had, I think, I think there were 7 elementary schools, but they cut a couple different ones. I think it was down to 5, but in fact, she did her internship under the lady that was my speech therapist when I was in like 1st grade. So yeah, just kind of strange stuff.
Can we turn the camera back on? Tell the story. No, I'm just kidding.